Does Toyota believe in its driver development pipeline? Coming up next. What is going on, everybody? Hope you are doing good this Friday. All right, with the signing of Tyler Reddick to 2311, Toyota gets another young prospect, but it is not a prospect that came from its driver development program. So it begs the question, with all of these really good drivers that Toyota has in its driver pipeline, does it still believe in its young driver development pipeline? We're going to take a look at that. So the first thing we need to look at is the drivers that Toyota currently has under contract. Kyle Busch, he originally came from Chevrolet, but he has been a Toyota legacy driver basically since he's gotten there, so they have showed loyalty to him. Martin Truex, they poached from another Toyota team, but before that, I guess he was a Chevrolet driver too. But he was a veteran, so basically right there, they kind of signed two veterans, depending on how you look at it. Denny Hamlin, he's been a Toyota man as long as Toyota's been in Cup. Of course, Denny Hamlin did drive Chevrolet, but as soon as Toyota came to Cup, Denny Hamlin has been with them ever since. And Christopher Bell, he's only been there 2.5 years now, but Christopher Bell has been Toyota for life, and he has come from the Toyota pipeline, so he is currently the only driver in their system that has come fully from Toyota. And then you look at Bubba Wallace, he was taken from a Chevrolet team, so he was poached from another Chevrolet team, a la Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, previously mentioned, he also poached from a Chevrolet team. And Kurt Busch, he is another just veteran signee. Of course, Kurt Busch has driven everything there is to drive and won in everything there is to drive since he's been a driver. However you want to look at it, only one of those guys has come all the way through the Toyota system, and only two of those guys have been Toyota drivers since Toyota has been in Cup. So let's talk about the other drivers that Toyota has brought through the Toyota development pipeline. Of course, the big one that everybody always wants to talk about is Joey Logano. They moved Joey Logano up and they stayed with him for a few years. And even though he got some wins, they bailed on him. And when they bailed on him, he went to Penske and became a champion with Penske. So they definitely got off Joey Logano too early. They got rid of a championship driver. He could be basically your face of Toyota right now as these other guys are aging out. But they got off of him too early, and he's basically one of the ones that got away. Another one you would have to say got away is this guy, Erik Jones. Erik Jones had a couple of wins with Toyota. He's younger than Christopher Bell. They replaced him with an older Christopher Bell, gave Christopher Bell a bigger push, giving him Adam Stevens, Kyle Busch's crew chief, and he has not produced results. He only has one win in his tenure with Toyota so far, with what I would consider a better crew chief and probably better equipment than Erik Jones had. And then the other one, of course, Daniel Suarez. They got off of Daniel Suarez too early. Another guy they brought up through the Toyota program. And, well, you saw it this year. He won with Trackhouse, so that's another young guy that they only gave a season or two to before they got off of him. So they're bringing these guys up possibly too early, or they're giving up on them too early, however you want to look at it. So with Toyota giving up on these young drivers and then signing consistently veterans or guys from other or younger guys from other development programs, it begs the question, if you're a Toyota racing development driver, do you feel secure? So let's look at some of the guys they got now, because some of the guys they got now are putting up great numbers. Are any of these guys going to get moved up when these veterans retire, or is Toyota going to sign another group of veterans to replace the veterans they retire, because they got some pretty good quality talent in the lower divisions? Let's start off with the obvious outlier, Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is definitely going to be a Toyota man for life. Definitely showing what he can do in the Xfinity Series. He showed what he can do basically at every level that he's raced at. So he's going to be the outlier. Of course, he is going to be a Toyota man for life. So let's go on to the next one, John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter Nemechek, if it wasn't for the crazy playoff point system that we have nowadays, would probably already be a Truck Series champion. He's obviously already run in Cup for Rookie of the Year before, where he had a streaky performance, but he showed the talent that he had in that car. But he is definitely showing the talent he's got in this truck, but basically being the man to beat in the Truck Series when Kyle Busch doesn't show up. Sticking in the Truck Series, let's go with Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, and Chandler Smith. All of those guys have shown what they can do in the Truck Series. All are bright young talents. So you just have a plethora of young drivers in the Truck Series for Toyota, and any of those guys they could bring up and they could be Toyota legacy drivers, but will they get the same treatment as basically Erik Jones and every other guy that has sat basically in that 20 car? Will they get moved up too early? Will they be let go too soon? How will this play out? Do you feel confident if you're one of these young drivers who is showing a lot of ability. Now, in the Toyota camp, I can already hear the counter argument to this. So what? Who cares? We're just signing the best driver that we can get. We don't care which pipeline it came from, yada yada, so on and so forth. Why does it matter? So this is why it matters. If you look at Chevrolet, let's just take Chevrolet for example. Chase Elliott, William Byron, Kyle Larson, all of those guys, it took them a little while to win, but Chevrolet was patient with them. They put the time in, the resources, they believed in their young talent, and their young talent grew with Chevrolet. Two of those guys have become champions. William Byron started off this season like firecracker. He looks like he's about to achieve his full potential. So when those guys got with Chevrolet, Chevrolet believed in them, and they built with them and grew with them, and now their names will probably forever be synonymous with Chevrolet, much like Dale Earnhardt's is with Chevrolet, much like Bill Elliott was with Ford, or if you're a little bit older, he did switch to Dodge, so some people, Bill Elliott is synonymous with Dodge because he was the Dodge man too. But Dale Jarrett with Ford, Davey Allison with Ford, you see, these guys were young and they grew with the brands they grew with. Even though Dale Earnhardt drove other brands, once he got with Chevrolet as a younger driver, Chevrolet stuck with him, believed in him. And so you remember these guys as Chevrolet guys. Once Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, once those two guys retire, do you have a legacy Toyota driver who you will believe, Martin Truex to an extent too, do you have a legacy Toyota driver who you're like, yeah, this guy came up with Toyota, he's a Toyota man? That doesn't necessarily make a huge difference to a lot of people, but to a lot of us fans, it does make a difference. Like, this guy was always our guy. This guy was always a Chevrolet guy. This guy was always a Dodge guy, Petty Plymouth. Like, he's synonymous with Dodge, right? Toyota doesn't necessarily have a corner piece once Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin retire, so they have to, at some point, bring up a young driver who will always be a Toyota driver. You can look at this throughout sports. Michael Jordan, you'll always remember him as a Chicago Bull, even though for a couple years he went and played with the Wizards. Derek Jeter was always a New York Yankee. Stuff like this does matter in the long run because it helps you in your marketing further on down the line. So I would like to see Toyota, at least at some point, hang on to some of this young talent and make one of those young drivers they got now in the lower series. I mean, we know Ty Gibbs is going to be one of them, but we don't know how good he's going to be. Because if you believe in Ty Gibbs, you're like, look at all these wins he's getting. He's got to be a good driver. If you're against Ty Gibbs, you can use the Austin Dillon argument. Yes, Austin Dillon won in the Truck Series, got a championship there, got a championship in the Xfinity Series. But he has been he's been a solid and decent driver. I'm not going to take anything away from Austin Dillon, but he's definitely not been as dominant as he was in those other divisions. So we don't know which way it's going to go with Ty Gibbs, but we know Ty Gibbs will be a legacy driver. But one of these guys they have in the lower divisions will be a champion, and if they keep getting rid of their younger talent, they are going to get rid of some of their legacy drivers, much like they did with Joey Logano. So that's all I've got for you today. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it, what your opinion on this matter is, and if you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I really appreciate it, and it helps out the channel more than you know. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.